Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? In today's POI analysis, we will be doing Boney Burbs. Now, I landed at Boney for a long time, and I know the POI pretty well. The first thing your trio will have to do is find a callout for all the buildings. I will link my trio's callouts in the description if you want to go through them and copy some of that. But if we look here, Boney does have like a fair amount of chests. I mean, there's 29 chests right here. That's a lot. I mean, Believer is 36. It's more than pleasant. More than retail. Um, more than steamy. Yep, more than steamy. More than craggy. So it has like a pretty much like a lot of chests, and it is pretty underrated. So there's a few things to start thinking about here. Is what are the splits? Well, owning this building is pretty important. Yeah, actually, let's go down through the breakdown. The supply chest. There aren't any supply chests near here other than the ones in the middle. Now that there are more spots here in the UFO spawns, it's probably going to be con pretty much all the time. But back when it was just this one, it sometimes wouldn't be con, and it was pretty free to run over here. Or if you're flying in, so if you're flying in like this or over top of this, and you see that one of these are unconned, what you could do is take the black car that spawns here, loot these two, and then have a car to rotate with at Boney, like a fast car, which is always good. So weapon nomadic, there isn't one, but there is a vending machine in here. So this is a chance for minis and bigs, minis or bigs, alien eggs. The only alien egg spawn is over here if you wanted parasites, or down here there's more. For off-road tires, there are a lot of off-road tire spawns, and for cars, there aren't many other than there is a taxi spawn right here, but it has no wheel, so you need to throw an off-road tire on it. Other than that, for cars, I mean, we have a truck spawn up here sometimes, and then the two trucks across here and some bridge car spawns. So boats, I mean, boats don't really matter, but there's a few boats around the river. Zip lines don't matter. Tunnels, so this does matter. There's a porta potty down here that goes directly to the gas station porta potty. So if you own this, then you pretty much own control over gas station as well, unless they're based up on it, because you have the option to go back and forth. So there is a porta potty that will take you back and forth. So that's just something good to, keep in mind of. Now gas station is right here. Gas can spawns. I mean, not a lot of them, honestly. Up here, there's some. Campfires. I think there's one campfire. Yep, one campfire over here, one there. Slurp truck. Now this is the kicker. There are two slurp truck spawns here. So if you have Boney unconned, you want to probably loot this up as quickly as possible and then get all three of your players to the slurp truck as soon as possible. Even if you have to like stop looting some of these buildings so you guys can all get down here and get the slurp truck, then you're good to go. Slurp barrels. There are a few slurp barrels back here. Noms. There are 4 nom spawns and 2 more down here. So really there's about 2, 4, 6 nom spawns because you want to hit these as well. So you have a pretty good chance to get peppers. Mushrooms. There's the cornfields. Fishing holes. There's 2 fishing holes in here. Fishing holes down throughout the river. No ice boxes. Reboot van is in the middle near gas. And there's a bounty board in this house. And safes is here's the safe spawns. So a good thing I want to note is that there you can get 5, 5, 4 for medal for each one of your teammates. If you first off, there is medal, so go load into a battle lab or a custom match and find all the medal spawns that are all around throughout here. As well as there's a truck that you can farm right here, the fences over here, and the edges of the gas station gives you medal, as well as up here gives you about 250 to 300 medal. You hit everything right. So you can pretty much, other than Slurp Truck, you don't have a reason to go to this bridge if you don't want to. A lot of Boney teams don't really get that you don't have to claim this bridge from the Pleasant team and the Believer team and all the other teams that want to run through it. You don't need the bridge other than one of these Slurp Trucks. You can get cat medal for majority of your, for like pretty much all your team from, just these spots here. So that's a nice little note that a lot of people do not know. But now we will talk about the splits there are. So, in my opinion, owning these 2 buildings is pretty much a free win because there isn't really much the other team can do when you own these 2 buildings. Really, their option to loot is back here. So what you can do is keep one here have 2 here, and if they send one person gas, so a common, so it's 1, 2, 3, and then blue does 1, 2, 3. Now, a common thing the players that land gas is that they don't land back here, they land in gas. So what you can do is get 2 or 3 can shoot the gas, they blow this up. So where are they going to run to? Well, they're not going to run across the street because they're going to get tagged by the 2 guys over here at main. What they're going to do is run backwards over here and hit the noms and the barrels back here to heal back up. So what you can do once this guy runs back is you send both of your guys through the porta potty. So they're both going to be flying out through here, and now it's a 2v1 over here. Now, one, he can either come and porta potty over with you, or he can just, lurk around this area here. While these guys go to support, he can sneak up behind them. And now this guy's dead. So we have 2 over here. Let me go back a bit, make it a little bit more clear. So we have 2 over here. We have the 2 blue coming in to fight. Then we have 1 that snuck up behind over here. So now we have a pinch here, and you guys easily kill them. So that's a good thing you can do. Sometimes what happens is you all 3 land here, and they do something like this: 1, 2, 3. So what I like to do here is, because Boney is in the middle of the map, you kind of need to end the fights really quick, because we know that the Believer team drives up through here, the Weepin team can key up, and the Pleasant team can come, and even the Center team. So we at least have 4 teams that are going to cross through here, and then the teams behind them. So then we have the Stealthy behind them, Coral behind them, and maybe even the Radar Station team. But we still have a lot of teams that like to pass through Boney. That's why the fights need to be over really quick, because you need to bust ass to the slurp truck and make sure you can get that before the Pleasant team rolls down or the Believer team rolls down. So what I found that worked when we sent like this is that we would send one person to loot up as much as he can, and the other 2 would find like an SMG. So one guy would have 2 times SMG, and the other one would have like an AR plus a shotgun. And we would send them to the top of this building and make them push this guy. So there'd be a 2v1 over here super early. I'm saying like 15 to 30 seconds into the game. There's a 2v1 here. These guys are still looting up. This guy's going to take forever to get here. This guy can kind of support soon enough. And it's back. Whoops, I didn't mean to erase all that. And you full send this guy. The idea is you kill him quick, and then it's a 2v3, and you just finish off the other 2 and you win. That works really well. Another thing that works really well is that if you get the drops and you guys 100% beat all the teams to this building, then you can send 2 off to go claim horns, is what we call this one, the second main buildings. So now we have 1 guy that loots all of this, and the other 2 loots this. So if this is con, so let's say we have this right now. We have 2 landing there, and we have the blue guy landing here as well. He expected all of you guys to go this building. Wow, my arrows look pretty nice, low-key, these blue ones. He expects all of you guys to go there, but the last second you swing off because your drops are lower because you're aiming for this building. You swing off, you guys get the loot. This guy's shambles and has to pull back, and now they're over here again where it's 1, 2, 3, and you can either kill this guy if he's at the bottom of this building, you just bull rush him, or you do the thing where you loop 1 around. The whole idea of Boney is catching 1 player off guard. So that's the whole thing, is that if it's a 1v or like one team versus another team, you want to make sure you catch a player out. And a really good way to do that is by using the porta potties here. So if something like this happens and you have 1, 2, 3, and they do 1, 2, 3. Keep 1 player on top of these and send 1 player through the porta potty to sneak around. Hopefully this guy isn't watching the right. He should be, but maybe you can sneak around with a sniper and get, a knocked on one of these guys. Boom. Now if they have 2, 3 over here at gas, and they have 1 guy here, and you guys, let's not confuse you. They have 1, 2, 3, and we are 1, 2, 3. Well, you don't want to send anyone through the porta potty because it's, a 2v1 over here. So you definitely don't want to do that. So what you can do is blow up gas. If anyone lands over here, your very first thing should be to blow up gas, 100%. Blow this up, make sure everything's burning, nice little clusterfuck over there. And then if we look here, we kind of have this like dead man's land right here. So if we can send If we can send 2 to support 1, so now we have these guys pushing here, and 3, so ideally this guy pushes down in the bottom of this building, and then we get 3 to go on top of here, he's able to hold these guys back and keep them here. And their only play is to take the Porta Potty. So if they go missing, they're either down here somewhere or they're taking the Porta Potty all the way over. So we have 1 and 2 full sending, 1 right here, and then they all TP behind. And this guy can comment out, he goes, they're missing. Careful of Porta Potty, they might be on main. Kill this guy, it's a 2v3, and then these guys can either dip out or you can push them and they might Porta Potty back and you have 1 waiting here or whatever might happen. Now, biggest thing about Boney is that you have to make sure you get control of this building, in my opinion. This building is super crucial and it just gives you so much options of what to do in gas station, and like it's an easy push to push this building, and you can probably make it work like this, and they loot all this. You can probably make it work, but in my opinion, owning the big building is definitely important, and because the big building is so important, drops are crucial. Okay, you need to master the drops of Boney and make sure your drops are 100% best at all times. Now, in arena, you won't get that good of a practice, either in scrims. In arena, I'd say every 10 games, one of those games you have like 6+ teams. 6+ teams. Then in scrims, you probably get, 1 to 3 teams, probably every game. Or you get unconned. Now, in cash cups, I found that you'd get 6+ teams, or probably like 4+ teams every single game, landing Boney. Because Boney is an easy spot to loot up and push one of these major POIs over here. So you can full send Believer with a pretty good loadout because there's so many chests. You can full send Believer pretty quick and be, the stacked third party that comes and cleans up the Spaz team. That's a huge option. So a lot of people like to loot Boney because you get your surge from fighting, and then you just dip out and either play a good position because you're in the middle of zone, middle of the map most times, or you full send Pleasant or Believer and clean up. So because of that, it was really hot, and that's not what we're looking for as a trio. We were looking to play a little bit more a super safe drop that we can then get all of our points end game, where refreshes and triple sprays and lobby focuses and all that stuff. So this wasn't our cup of tea, but maybe it is for your trio, which is fine. So I think I pretty much covered a fair bit. I'm just going to talk about nearby surge like locations. So we have the mountains over here. We have Boney Main. We have Billboard. We obviously have the UFO, which you can easily get to pretty quick. We have the radar station hills right here. And that's pretty much it. You can go over here as well to Zipline Hill. So these are your nearby surge spots. You can also easily hit Stretch Mountain. You probably won't get to Zate Hill first. You might be able to get up here, but you might run into the radar team. So I would say this is pretty much it. Maybe the Spire. But these are the nearby surge positions you guys can get to. Who can rotate into Boney? Well, Believer. Then we have Coral coming behind Believer usually, going one of these ways. Pleasant. Then we have Stealthy coming behind Pleasant or going like this. Craigie might push through and do something like this as well, but that's pretty iffy. Weepin, if they have God Loot and have a W key game, they can go like this, and Holly usually cuts through as well. So we at least have 4 teams that are like probably a 60% chance for these 4 teams to go in. I'd say Pleasant and Believer that went on zone. If zone pulls anywhere to this half of the map, I'd say it's probably like an 80% chance they're going to be driving through at some point. So that's teams that can rotate into Boney, and now where can Boney rotate into? Well, Boney can push into Believer, can push into Pleasant, you can push, Risky, you can push the center team over here, especially with the UFO now. You can pretty much fly anywhere with this UFO. So don't be afraid to use that. If you're W keying, you can push into Weepin, it can go down into Holly, and it can go up the mountain into Radar. So because you're in the middle of the map, you can pretty much push anybody, especially with the UFO that now is here. Pretty broken. I think Boney is pretty underrated as like a good POI. I think a lot of people land here because it is an easy push to other POIs, especially if you get the fast car over here. You can loot up pretty quick, hit Slurp Truck, full send Pleasant, or hit Slurp Truck and full send Believer. So hopefully I covered everything. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. This is the Boney Burbs analysis. Next, I think I'm going to be doing dirty, or I think I'm doing 30. So yeah, cheers.